Hey, maybe in. How's it going? So I will turn the music down first. So this is going to be interactive. I actually that's not the tab I want. Let's see here. I actually have bingo cards that you guys can choose from. Oh, nice, nice. How far through Dark Souls 2 would you say you are so far? Oh, here we go.
What's that?
What's that?
What's that?
State of the Union. I'm gonna do Buzzword Bingo during the during the live stream. Thank you for bringing that down. All right, so here's how this is going to work. Go ahead and click on that link. It will assign you a random bingo card. I actually came up with 90 different terms that it's going to randomly select. Well, okay, it's going to randomly select from 20 or 30 different cards that have random combinations of those. I will also be keeping track on my side of the ones that I've seen, and I will be playing along as well. Now, some of the items on those cards are have asterisks at the end of them. If oh man, there's a term I should have had on there. If the item has an asterisk on it, you just need to match the topic, right? So I have raise taxes on the 1%. He doesn't have to say raise taxes on the 1% exactly, but if he says something to that effect, then I'll count it. There are a few items on there that are in parentheses, and that basically represents an action. So, for example, like introduces more than 10 guests, or 2 rounds of applause in less than 10 seconds. Yeah, so raise taxes for the wealthy would be close enough. Everything else that is on there, if it is not in parentheses or does not have an asterisk after it, needs to be matched exactly. I might allow minor variations, but other than that, he needs to hit the exact phrase. So, if you get a bingo, let me know. I'm gonna eat some food here while I'm doing this. Oh man. I would love to do that. The sad part is no one would ever get the center square. Alright, so let me... Man, I'm going to have multiple window captures going on here to do this. Hey, Ari, hello. Yes, so there is the link. Do me a favor. Tell me what number of card you guys get when you click on that. Okay. I just want to like. I clicked on this from my work computer, and I clicked on the link from this computer, and I think I got the same card on both of them. So I just want to make sure it wasn't doling out the same card to everybody. Um. Man, it's... You got 19, huh? In that case, I need to re-roll because I also got 19. Oh, I don't know if I like that. Tell you what, Mabian, do you want to change cards, or do you want me to change cards? Okay. Hmm. In that case, Mabian, let's do this. Pick out a number between 1 and 30. Oh, actually, you know what? You don't even need to tell me what the number is. Just take that URL and put a slash and then whatever number you picked out after it. Hi, Ren. Hi, how you doing? Well, all right. Oh, for fuck's sake, really? All right, let's see here. Interact. Yeah, I know. Well, okay. What if I do this? Oops. Can I move it? There we go. I can just move it off the stream. Okay. Wow, this is gonna suck. I'm sorry, guys.
The joint session will come to order. Okay, then we do these, okay? The joint session will come to order. The chair appoints as members of the committee on the part of the House to escort the President of the United States into the chambers. The gentleman from Maryland, Mr. Hoyer. The gentleman from South Carolina, Mr. Clyburn. The gentleman from Massachusetts, the gentlewoman from Massachusetts, Ms. Clark. The gentleman from New York, Mr. Jeffries. The gentleman from New York, Mr. Sean Patrick Maloney. The woman from Ohio, Ms. Capter. The gentlewoman from Delaware, Ms. Blunt Rochester.
Dang it.
The gentleman from California, Mr. McCarthy. The gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Scalise. The gentlewoman from New York, Ms. Stefanik. The gentleman from Louisiana, Mr. Mike Johnson. The gentleman from Alabama, Mr. Palmer. The gentleman from Oklahoma, Mr. Cole. The gentlewoman from Indiana, Ms. Sparks.
The President of the Senate, at the direction of that body, appoints the following senators as members of the Committee on the part of the Senate.
All right. Oh, so Ari, you asked what the asterisk means. The asterisk means that you just need to match the topic. You don't necessarily need to match the exact words that are shown on the card.
From Illinois, Mr. Durbin. The senator from Michigan, Ms. Snapanow. The senator from Minnesota, Ms. Klobuchar. The senator from Wisconsin.
All right, that'll have to do. Sorry, guys. I know I can't even read that.
Mr. McConnell.
Yeesh.
The senator from South Dakota, Mr. Thune. The senator from Wyoming, Mr. Barrasso. The senator from Iowa, Ms. Ernst. The senator from Missouri, Mr. Blunt. And the senator from Iowa, Mr. Grassley.
The members of the escort committee will
You know what?
exit
No
the
point in having
chamber
closed
through the
captions on.
lobby doors.
Dismiss. I meant to click on that.
Madam Speaker, the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What did I just do? No! I clicked on the wrong capture source. Wait. Son of a... Ah! No, too big! Come on. I wonder if...
Madam Speaker, the Chief
Look, he's
Justice and Associate Justices of the Supreme Court.
He's gonna be there all night, maybe, and there's not much you can do about it. Sorry. You're on the wrong side of the country to be able to do anything about it. Oh, okay, yeah, sure, you can boo him. I'll give you that. I'm sorry, I didn't think to put Joe Manchin on the card. Yeah, well, the chances of him name-checking Hillary are pretty slim, but I put her on there for some reason. Alright, let's... In retrospect, it was probably not a very smart move, but, you know, what's done is done.
Madam Speaker, the President's Cabinet.
Maybe, and he's gotta say Nancy Pelosi. Sorry. All right, let's see how that does. So, edit transform. Oh, I'm going the wrong freaking direction. Good lord, the detail of chatter that you can hear going on there is just mind-boggling. Oh, here she's supposed to be the most powerful man in the world. Here, we can do this. We can make some of these bigger. I think. Oh, if I'm. Damn, Google Sheets doesn't have a button to just, like, increase the font size like Excel does. So. Oh, bomb!
Speaker, the President of the United States.
Oh, here we go. Nope. Yay!
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you the President of the United States.
Yay!
Thank you. Thank you all very much. Thank you, General. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all very, very much. Thank you. Please. Thank you so much. Madam Speaker, Madam Vice President, our First Lady and Second Gentleman, members of Congress and the Cabinet, Justices of the Supreme Court, my fellow Americans. Last year, COVID-19 kept us apart. This year, we're finally together again. Tonight...
Where's the damn... Okay, there we go. Okay, all right.
Tonight, we meet as Democrats, Republicans, and Independents, but most importantly, as Americans, with the duty to one another, to America, to the American people, to the Constitution, and an unwavering resolve that freedom will always triumph over tyranny. Thank you. 6 days ago, Russia's Vladimir Putin sought to shake the very foundations of the free world, thinking he could make it bend to his menacing ways. But he badly miscalculated. He thought he could roll into Ukraine and the world would roll over. Instead, he met with a wall of strength he never anticipated or imagined. He met the Ukrainian people. President Zelensky, to every Ukrainian, their fearlessness, their courage, their determination literally inspires the world. Groups of citizens blocking tanks with their bodies, everyone from students to retirees to teachers, turned soldiers defending their homeland. And in this struggle, President Zelensky said in his speech to the European Parliament, "Light will win over darkness." The Ukrainian ambassador to the United States is here tonight, sitting with the First Lady. Let each of us, if you're able to stand and send an unmistakable signal to the world of Ukraine. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. She's bright, she's strong, and she's resolved. Yes. We, the United States of America, stand with the Ukrainian people. Throughout our history, we've learned this lesson. When dictators do not pay a price for their aggression, they cause more chaos. They keep moving, and the cost, the threats to America and America to the world keeps rising. That's why the NATO alliance was created, to secure peace and stability in Europe after World War II. The United States is a member, along with 29 other nations. It matters. American diplomacy matters. American resolve matters. Putin's latest attack on Ukraine was premeditated and totally unprovoked. He rejected repeated efforts at diplomacy. He thought the West and NATO wouldn't respond. He thought he could divide us at home, in this chamber, in this nation. He thought he could divide us in Europe as well. But Putin was wrong. We are ready. We are united, and that's what we did. We stayed united. We prepared extensively and carefully. We spent months building coalitions of other freedom-loving nations in Europe and the Americas, from America to the Asian and African continents, to confront Putin. Like many of you, I spent countless hours unifying our European allies. We shared with the world in advance what we knew Putin was planning and precisely how we would try to falsify and justify his aggression. We countered Russia's lies with the truth. And now that he's acted, the free world is holding him accountable, along with 27 members of the European Union, including France, Germany, Italy, as well as countries like the United Kingdom, Canada, Japan, Korea, Australia, New Zealand, and many others, even Switzerland, are inflicting pain on Russia and supporting the people of Ukraine. Putin is now isolated from the world more than he has ever been. Together, along with our allies, we are right now enforcing powerful economic sanctions. We're cutting off Russia's largest banks in the international financial system, preventing Russia's central bank from defending the Russian ruble, making Putin's $630 billion war fund worthless. We're choking Russia's access. To technology that will sap its economic strength and weaken its military for years to come. Tonight, I say to the Russian oligarchs and the corrupt leaders who built billions of dollars off this violent regime, no more. The United States, I mean it. The United States Department of Justice is assembling a dedicated task force to go after the crimes of the Russian oligarchs. We're joining with European allies to find and seize their yachts, their luxury apartments, their private jets. We're coming for your ill-begotten gains. And tonight, I'm announcing that we will join our allies in closing off American airspace to all Russian flights, further isolating Russia and adding additional squeeze on their economy.
I mean, I think I heard about that already, but good.
The ruble has already lost 30% of its value. The Russian stock market has lost 40% of its value, and trading remains suspended. The Russian economy is reeling, and Putin alone is the one to blame. Together with our allies, we're providing support to the Ukrainians in their fight for freedom. Military assistance, economic assistance, humanitarian assistance. We're giving more than $1 billion of direct assistance to Ukraine, and will continue to aid the Ukrainian people as they defend their country and help ease their suffering. But let me be clear. Our forces are not engaged and will not engage in the conflict with Russian forces in Ukraine. Our forces are not going to Europe to fight Ukraine, but to defend our NATO allies in the event that Putin decides to keep moving west. For that purpose, we have mobilized American ground forces, air squadrons, ship deployments to protect NATO countries including Poland, Romania, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. And as I've made crystal clear, the United States and our allies will defend every inch of territory that is NATO territory with the full force of our collective power. Every single inch. And we're clear-eyed. The Ukrainians are fighting back with pure courage. But the next few days, weeks, and months will be hard on them. Putin has unleashed violence and chaos. But while he may make gains on the battlefield, he'll pay a continuing high price over the long run. And a pound of Ukrainian people, the proud, proud people, pound for pound, ready to fight with every inch of energy they have. They've known 30 years of independence, have repeatedly shown that they will not tolerate anyone who tries to take their country backwards. To all Americans, I'll be honest with you, as I always promised I would be. A Russian dictator invading a foreign country has cost around the world. And I'm taking robust action to make sure the pain of our sanctions is targeted at the Russian economy and that we use every tool at our disposal to protect American businesses and consumers. Tonight, I can announce the United States has worked with 30 other countries to release 60 million barrels of oil from reserves around the world. America will lead that effort, releasing 30 million barrels of our own strategic petroleum reserve. And we stand ready to do more if necessary, united with our allies. These steps will help blunt gas prices here at home, but I know news about what's happening can seem alarming to all Americans. But I want you to know we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. When the history of this era is written, Putin's war in Ukraine will have left Russia weaker and the rest of the world stronger. While it shouldn't have taken something so terrible for people around the world to see what's at stake, now everyone sees it clearly. We see the unity among leaders of nations, a more unified Europe, a more unified West. We see unity among the people who are gathering in cities and large crowds around the world, even in Russia, to demonstrate their support for the people of Ukraine. In the battle between democracy and autocracies, democracies are rising to the moment, and the world is clearly choosing the side of peace and security. This is the real test, and it's going to take time. So let us continue to draw inspiration from the iron will of the Ukrainian people. To our fellow Ukrainian Americans who forged the deep bond that connects our two nations, we stand with you. We stand with you. Putin may circle Kyiv with tanks, but he'll never gain the hearts and souls of the Iranian people. He'll never extinguish their love of freedom, and he will never, never weaken the resolve of the free world.
Okay, did he call them the Iranian people, or did I just mishear it? Because my headset is kind of choppy. It could have just been my headset.
We meet tonight in an America that has lived through two of the hardest years this nation has ever faced. The pandemic has been punishing, and so many families are living paycheck to paycheck, struggling to keep up with the rising cost of food, gas, housing,
it wasn't
more.
Ukrainian.
I understand, like many of you did. My dad had to leave his home in Scranton, Pennsylvania to find work. So like many of you, I grew up in a family when the price of food went up, it was felt throughout the family. It had an impact. That's when one of the first things I did as president was fight to pass the American Rescue Plan. Because people were hurting. We needed to act, and we did. Few pieces of legislation have done more at a critical moment in our history to lift us out of a crisis. It fueled our efforts to vaccinate the nation and combat COVID-19, delivered immediate economic relief to tens of millions of Americans. It helped put food on the table, Remember those long lines of cars waiting for hours just to get a box of food put in their trunk? It cut the cost of health care insurance. And as my dad used to say, it gave the people just a little bit of breathing room. Unlike the $2 trillion tax cut passed in the previous administration that benefited the top 1% of Americans, the American Rescue Plan helped working people and left no one behind. Folks, and it worked. It worked. It worked. We created jobs, lots of jobs. In fact, our economy created over 6.5 million new jobs just last year. More jobs in 1 year than ever before in the history of the United States of America. The economy grew at a rate of 5.7 last year, the strongest growth rate in 40 years. And the first step in bringing fundamental change to our economy that hasn't worked for working people in this nation for too long. For the past 40 years, we were told that tax break for those at the top and benefits would trickle down and everyone would benefit. But that trickle-down theory led to a weaker economic growth, lower wages, bigger deficits, and a widening gap between the top and everyone else in nearly a century. Look, Vice President Harris and I ran for office, and I realized we had fundamental disagreements on this, but ran for office with a new economic vision for America. Invest in America, educate Americans, grow the workforce, build the economy from the bottom up and the middle out, not from the top down, because we know when the middle class grows, the poor have a way up and the wealthy do very well. America used to have the best roads, bridges, and airports on earth, and now our infrastructure is ranked 13th in the world. We won't be able to compete for the jobs of the 21st century if we don't fix it. That's why it was so important to pass the bipartisan infrastructure law. And I thank my Republican friends who joined to invest and rebuild America, the single biggest investment in history. It was a bipartisan effort, and I want to thank the members of both parties who worked to make it happen. We're done talking about infrastructure weeks. We're now talking about an infrastructure decade.
All right, maybe, and I'll give that one to you.
And look, it's going to transform America, to put us on a path to win the economic competition of the 21st century that we face with the rest of the world, particularly China. I've told Xi Jinping it's never been a good bet to bet against the American people. We'll create good jobs for millions of Americans, modernizing roads, airports, ports, waterways, all across America. And we'll do it to withstand the devastating effects of climate change and promote environmental justice. We'll build a national network of 500,000 electric vehicle charging stations. Begin to replace the poisonous lead pipes so every child, every American has clean water to drink at home and at school. We're going to provide affordable, high-speed internet for every American, rural, suburban, urban, and tribal communities. 4,000 projects have already been announced. Many of you have announced them in your districts. And tonight, I'm announcing that this year, we will start fixing over 65,000 miles of highway and 1,500 bridges in disrepair. Folks, when we use taxpayers' dollars to rebuild America, we're going to do it by buying America. Buy American products. Support American jobs. The federal government spends about $600 billion a year to keep this country safe and secure. There's been a law on the books for almost a century to make sure taxpayers' dollars support American jobs and businesses. Every administration, Democrat and Republican, says they'll do it, but we're actually doing it. We'll buy America to make sure everything from the deck of an aircraft carrier to the steel on highway guardrails is made in America from beginning to end. All of it. All of it. But folks, to compete for the jobs of the future, we also need a level playing field with China and other competitors. That's why it's so important to pass the Bipartisan Innovation Act sitting in Congress that will make record investments in emerging technologies and American manufacturing. We used to invest almost 2% of our GDP in research and development. We don't now. China is. Let me give you one example why it's so important to pass. If you travel 20 miles east of Columbus, Ohio, you'll find 1,000 empty acres of land. It won't look like much, but if you stop and look closely, you'll see a field of dreams, the ground on which America's future will be built. That's where Intel, the American company that helped build Silicon Valley, is going to build a $20 billion semiconductor megasite, up to 8 state-of-the-art factories in one place, 10,000 new jobs. In those factories, the average job about $135,000 a year. Some of the most sophisticated manufacturing in the world to make.
They're going to be really disappointed.
The size of a fingertip, the power of the world in everyday lives, from smartphones, technology, the internet, technology that's yet to be invented. But that's just the beginning. Intel CEO Pat Gelsinger, who is here tonight, I don't know where Pat is. Pat, there you go, Pat, stand up.
Oh, that's all right. That's 2 guests. Stand up, you idiot! He said stand up.
Pat.
There you go. I was gonna say maybe they're gonna be really disappointed when they get there and they find out there's no baseball field.
Pat came to see me and he told me they're ready to increase their investment from $20 billion to $100 billion. That would be the biggest investment in manufacturing in American history. And all they're waiting for is for you to pass this bill. So let's not wait any longer. Send it to my desk, I'll sign it, and we'll really take off in a big way. And folks, Intel is not alone. There's something happening in America. Just look around and you'll see an amazing story. The rebirth of pride that comes from stamping products made in America. The revitalization of American manufacturing. Companies are choosing to build new factories here when just a few years ago they would have gone overseas. That's what's happening. Ford is investing $11 billion in electric vehicles, creating 11,000 jobs across the country. GM is making the largest investment in its history, $7 billion to build electric vehicles, creating 4,000 jobs in Michigan. All told, 369,000 new manufacturing jobs were created in America last year alone. Folks, powered by people I've met like JoJo Burgess from generations of union steelworkers in Pittsburgh, who's here with us tonight. Where are you, JoJo? There you go. Thanks, buddy. As Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown says...
That's 3, isn't it? I think.
As Sherrod Brown says, it's time to bury the label Rust Belt. It's time to see the what used to be called Rust Belt become the home of a significant resurgence of manufacturing. And with all the bright spots in our economy, record job growth, higher wages, too many families are struggling to keep up with their bills. Inflation is robbing them of gains they thought otherwise they would be able to feel. I get it. That's why my top priority is getting prices under control. Look, our economy roared back faster than almost anyone predicted. But the pandemic meant that businesses had a hard time hiring enough people because of the pandemic to keep up production in their factories. So you didn't have people making those beams that went into buildings because they were out. The factory was closed. The panic also disrupted the global supply chain. Factories closed. When that happens, it takes longer to make goods and get them to the warehouses, to the stores, and prices go up. Look at cars last year. 1/3 of all the inflation was because of automobile sales. There weren't enough semiconductors to make all the cars that people wanted to buy. And guess what? Prices of automobiles went way up, especially used vehicles as well. And so we have a choice. One way to fight inflation is to drive down wages and make Americans poorer. I think I have a better idea to fight inflation. Lower your costs, not your wages. And folks, that means make more cars and semiconductors in America, more infrastructure and innovation in America, more goods moving faster and cheaper in America, more jobs where you can earn a good living in America. Instead of relying on foreign supply chains, let's make it in America. Look, economists
Ukraine, Ukraine, Ukraine.
Increasing the productive capacity of our economy. I call it building a better America. My plan to fight inflation will lower your costs and lower the deficit. 17 Nobel laureates in economics said my plan will ease long-term inflationary pressures. Top business leaders, and I believe most Americans support the plan. And here's the plan. First, cut the cost of prescription drugs.
I don't know why I didn't think to put healthcare anything on here.
For the same drug produced by the same company in America and any other country in the world. Just look at insulin. 1 in 10 Americans has diabetes. In Virginia, I met a 13-year-old boy, the handsome young man standing up there, Joshua Davis.
Oh, number 4, little Joshua Davis.
He and his dad both have type 1 diabetes, which means they need insulin every single day.
He's got the diabetes.
Insulin costs about $10 a vial to make. That's what it costs the pharmaceutical company.
Has anyone introduced him to Wilford Brimley yet?
Charge families like Joshua and his dad up to 30 times that amount. I spoke with Joshua's mom. Imagine what it's like to look at your child who needs insulin to stay healthy and have no idea how in God's name you're going to be able to pay for it. What it does to your family, but what it does to your dignity, your ability to look your child in the eye, to be the parent you expect yourself to be. I really mean to think about that. That's what I think about. You know, yesterday, Joshua's here tonight, but yesterday was his birthday. Happy birthday, buddy, by the way. So Joshua and 200,000 other young people with type 1 diabetes, let's cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month.
Wow, not only does
can afford it.
does that kid have his face being beamed across America,
very well, their profit margin.
but now everybody in America knows that he has diabetes.
While we're at it, I know we have great disagreements on this floor with this. Let's let Medicare negotiate the price of prescription drugs. They already set the price for VA drugs. Look, the American Rescue Plan is helping millions of families with Affordable Care Act plans to save them $2,400 a year on their health premiums. Let's close the coverage gap and make these savings permanent. And second, Let's cut energy costs for families, an average of $500 a year by combating climate change. Let's provide an investment tax credits to weatherize your home and your business, to be energy efficient and get a tax credit for it. Double America's clean energy production in solar, wind, and so much more. Lower the price of electric vehicles, saving another $80 a month that you're not going to have to pay at the pump. Folks, the third thing we can do to change the standard of living for hardworking folks is cut the cost of child care. Cut the cost of child care.
Or, hear me out, just cut out the child.
If you live in a major city in America, you pay up to $14,000 a year for child care per child. I was a single dad for 5 years, raising 2 kids. I had a lot of help, though. I had a mom, a dad, a brother, and a sister that really helped. But middle class and working folks shouldn't have to pay more than 7% of their income to care for the young children. My plan...
Exactly.
My plan would cut the cost.
Plus, you can sell the other half.
For most families. And help parents, including millions of women who left the workforce during the pandemic because they couldn't afford child care, to be able to get back to work, generating economic growth. But my plan doesn't stop there. It also includes home and long-term care, more affordable housing, pre-K for 3- and 4-year-olds. All these will lower costs to families. And under my plan, nobody, let me say this again, nobody earning less than $400,000 a year will pay an additional penny in new taxes. Not a single penny. I may be wrong, but my guess is if we took a secret ballot in this floor, that we'd all agree that the present tax system ain't fair. We have to fix it. I'm not looking to punish anybody. Well, let's make corporations and wealthy Americans start paying their fair share. Look.
All right, I think that's probably close enough for raise the taxes on the 1%.
Last year, and like Chris Coons and Tom Carper and my distinguished Congresswoman, we come from the land of corporate America. There are more corporations incorporated in America than every other state in America combined. And I still won 36 years in a row. The point is, even they understand they should pay just a fair share. Last year, 55 of the Fortune 500 companies earned $40 billion in profit and paid 0 in federal taxes. Now look, it's not fair. That's why I proposed a 15% minimum tax rate for corporations. We've got, and that's why in the G7 and other meetings overseas, we're able to put together, I was able to be somewhat helpful, 130 countries agree on a global minimum tax rate. So companies can't get out of paying their taxes at home by shipping jobs and factories overseas. It'll raise billions of dollars. That's why I propose closing loopholes for the very wealthy who pay a lower tax rate than a teacher and a firefighter. So that's my plan, but we will go more detailed later. We will grow the economy, lower the cost of families. So what are we waiting for? Let's get this done. We all know we've got to make changes. Folks, and while you're at it, confirm my nominees for the Federal Reserve, which plays a critical role in fighting inflation. My plan will not only lower costs and give families a fair shot, it will lower the deficit. The previous administration not only ballooned the deficit with those tax cuts for the very wealthy and corporations, it undermined the watchdogs, the job of those to keep pandemic relief funds being wasted. Remember we had those debates about whether or not those watchdogs should be able to see every day how much money was being spent, where was it going to the right place? But in my administration, the watchdogs are back. And we're going to go after the criminals who stole billions of relief money, meant for small business and millions of Americans. And tonight, I'm announcing that the Justice Department will soon name a chief prosecutor for pandemic fraud.
Did he say the previous administration? Did I miss that?
I think we all agree. Thank you. By the end of this year, the deficit will be down to less than half of what it was before I took office. The only president ever to cut the deficit by more than $1 trillion in a single year. Lowering your cost also meant demanding more competition. I'm a capitalist, but capitalism without competition is not capitalism. Capitalism without competition is exploitation. It drives up profits. And corporations have to compete. Their profits go up and your prices go up when they don't have to compete. Small businesses and family farmers and ranchers, I need not tell some of my Republican friends from those states. Guess what? You got 4 basic meat packing facilities. That's it. You play with them or you don't get to play at all. And you pay a hell of a lot more. A hell of a lot more because there's only 4. See what's happening with ocean carriers moving goods in and out of America. During the pandemic, about half a dozen or less foreign-owned companies raised prices by as much as 1,000% and made record profits. Tonight, I'm announcing a crackdown on those companies overcharging American businesses and consumers. And folks, and as Wall Street firms take over more nursing homes, quality in those homes has gone down and costs have gone up. That ends on my watch. Medicare is going to set higher standards for nursing homes and make sure your loved ones get the care they deserve and that they inspect and they will look at closely. We're also going to cut costs to keep the economy going strong and giving workers a fair shot, provide more training and apprenticeships, hire them based on skills, not just their degrees. Let's pass the Paycheck Fairness Act and paid leave. Raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour and extend the child tax credit so no one has to raise a family in poverty. Let's increase Pell Grants, increase our historic support for HBCUs, and invest in what Jill, our First Lady who teaches full-time, calls America's best-kept secret, community colleges. Look, let's pass the PRO Act. When a majority of workers want to form a union, they shouldn't be able to be stopped. When we invest in our workers and we build an economy from the bottom up and the middle out together, we can do something we haven't done in a long time, build a better America. For more than 2 years, COVID has impacted every decision in our lives and the life of this nation. And I know you're tired, frustrated, and exhausted. That doesn't even count the close to 1 million people who sit at a dining room table or a kitchen table and look at an empty chair because they lost somebody. But I also know this, because of the progress we've made, because of your resilience and the tools that we have been provided by this Congress, tonight I can say we're moving forward safely back to more normal routines. We've reached a new moment in the fight against COVID-19, where severe cases are down to a level not seen since July of last year. Just a few days ago, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention issued a new mask guidelines. Under the new guidelines, most Americans and most of the country can now go mask-free. And based on projections, more of the country will reach a point across the next couple of weeks. And thanks to the progress we've made in the past year, COVID-19 no longer need control our lives. I know some are talking about living with COVID-19, but tonight I say that we never will just accept living with COVID-19. We'll continue to combat the virus as we do other diseases. And because this virus mutates and spreads, we have to stay on guard. And here are 4 common sense steps as we move forward safely, in my view. First, stay protected with vaccines and treatments. We know how incredibly effective vaccines are. If you're vaccinated and boosted, you have the highest degree of protection. We'll never give up on vaccinating more Americans. Now, I know parents with kids under 5 are eager to see their vaccines authorized for their children. Scientists are working hard to get that done. We'll be ready with plenty of vaccines if and when they do. We're all ready. We are also ready with antiviral treatments. If you get COVID-19, the Pfizer pill reduces your chances of ending up in the hospital by 90%. I've ordered more pills than anyone in the world has. Pfizer is working overtime to get us 1 million pills this month and more than double that next month. And now we're launching the Test to Treat initiative. So people can get tested at a pharmacy, and if they prove positive, receive the antiviral pills on the spot at no cost. And folks, if you're immunocompromised or have some other vulnerability, we have treatments and free high-quality masks. We're leaving no one behind or ignoring anyone's needs as we move forward. On testing, we've made hundreds of millions of tests available, and you can order them for free to your doorstep. And we've already ordered free tests. If you already ordered free tests tonight, I'm announcing you can order another group of tests. Go to covidtest.gov starting next week, and you can get more tests. Second,
All right.
we must prepare for new variants. Over the past, we've gotten much better at detecting new variants. If necessary, we'll be able to develop new vaccines within 100 days instead of maybe months or years. And if Congress provides the funds we need, we'll have new stockpiles of tests, masks, pills ready if needed. I can't promise a new variant won't come, but I can promise you we'll do everything within our power to be ready if it does. Third,
I think that's about as close as Nancy Pelosi gets to a smile.
Schools and businesses. We have the tools we need. It's time for America to get back to work and fill our great downtowns again with people. People working from home can feel safe and begin to return to their offices. We're doing that here in the federal government. The vast majority of federal workers will once again work in person. Our schools are open. Let's keep it that way. Our kids need to be in school. With 75% of adult Americans fully vaccinated and hospitalizations down by 77%, most Americans can remove their masks and stay in the classroom and move forward safely. We achieved this because we provided free vaccines, treatments, tests, and masks. Of course, continuing this costs money, so I'll not surprise you. I'll be back to see you all. And I'm going to soon send a request to Congress. The vast majority of Americans have used these tools and may want again. We may need them again, so I expect Congress, and I hope you'll pass that quickly. Fourth, we'll continue vaccinating the world. We've sent 475 million vaccine doses to 112 countries, more than any nation on earth. We won't stop because you can't build a wall high enough to keep out a vaccine. The vaccine can stop the spread of these diseases. You know, we've lost so much in COVID-19. Time with one another. The worst of all, the loss of life. Let's use this moment to reset. So stop looking at COVID as a partisan dividing line. See it for what it is, a god-awful disease. Let's stop seeing each other as enemies and start seeing each other for who we are, fellow Americans. Look.
Oh, that's right. That's right. The government built a website to order tests that couldn't handle people in apartment buildings. Isn't that what happened?
We can't change how divided we've been. It was a long time in coming. But we can change how to move forward on COVID-19 and other issues that we must face together. I recently visited New York City Police Department days after the funerals of Officer Wilbur Mora and his partner, Officer Jason Rivera. They were responding to a 9/11 call when a man shot and killed them with a stolen gun. Officer Mora was 27 years old. Officer Rivera was 22 years old. Both Dominican Americans who grew up in the same streets that they later chose to patrol as police officers. I spoke with their families, and I told them that we were forever in debt for their sacrifices and will carry on their mission to restore the trust and safety of every community deserves.
Yeah, because I didn't
Like
see the
some
difference
of you that have been around for a while,
between different apartments.
I've worked with you on these issues for a long
Even though
time.
everybody else in the country knows the
I know
difference.
it works. Investigating crime prevention and community policing, cops who walk the beat, who know the neighborhood, and who can restore trust and safety. Let's not abandon our streets or choose between safety and equal justice. Let's come together and protect our communities, restore trust, and hold law enforcement accountable. That's why the Justice Department has required body cameras, banned chokeholds, and restricted no-knock warrants for its officers. That's why the American Rescue Plan that you all provided $350 billion that cities, states, and counties can use to hire more police, invest in more proven strategies. Proven strategies like community violence interruption, trusted messengers, breaking the cycle of violence and trauma, and giving young people some hope. We should all agree the answer is not to defund the police, it's to fund the police. Fund them. Fund them. Fund them with resources and training. Resources and training they need to protect our communities. I ask Democrats and Republicans alike to pass my budget and keep our neighborhoods safe. And we'll do everything in my power to crack down on gun trafficking of ghost guns that you can buy online, assemble at home, no serial numbers, can't be traced. I ask Congress to pass proven measures to reduce gun violence. Pass universal background checks. Why should anyone on the terrorist list be able to purchase a weapon? Why?
Wow, I've missed a lot of opportunities on this.
And folks, ban assault weapons with high-capacity magazines that hold up to 100 rounds. You think the deer are wearing Kevlar vests? Look, repeal the liability shield that makes gun manufacturers the only industry in America that can't be sued. The only one.
Now that you've said that, Joe, people are going to start.
Tobacco manufacturers.
People are going to start putting Kevlar vests on the deer.
On the Second Amendment, they save lives. The most fundamental right in America is the right to vote and have it counted. And look, it's under assault. In state after state, new laws have been passed. Not only to suppress the vote, we've been there before, but to subvert the entire election. We can't let this happen. Tonight I call on the Senate to pass the Freedom to Vote Act, pass the John Lewis Act, Voting Rights Act. And while you're at it, pass the Disclose Act so Americans know who's funding our election. Look, tonight, I'd like to honor someone who dedicated his life to serve this country. Justice Breyer, an Army veteran, constitutional scholar, retiring Justice of the United States Supreme Court. Justice Breyer, thank you for your service. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
That's close enough for the Stephen Breyer Square.
Stand, let them see you. Thank you. And we all know, no matter what your ideology, we all know one of the most serious constitutional responsibility a president has is nominating someone to serve on the United States Supreme Court. As I did 4 days ago, I've nominated the Circuit Court of Appeals, Ketanji Brown Jackson, one of our nation's top legal minds, will continue in Justice Breyer's legacy of excellence. A former top litigator in private practice, a former federal public defender, from a family of public school educators and police officers. She's a consensus builder. Since she's been nominated, she's received a broad range of support, including the Fraternal Order of Police and former judges supported by Democrats and Republicans. Folks, if we're to advance liberty and justice, we need to secure our border and fix the immigration system.
Wow, you got the standing ovation from Ted Cruz. Holy shit. Although I feel kind of like that's a soft sell.
I think we can do both. At our border, we've installed new technology like cutting-edge scanners to better detect drug smuggling. We've set up joint patrols with Mexico and Guatemala to catch more human traffickers. We're putting in place dedicated immigration judges in a significant larger number so families fleeing persecution and violence can have their cases heard faster, and those who don't legitimately hear can be sent back. We're screening, we're securing commitments and supporting
that lady's just asleep
in South and Central America to host more refugees and secure their own borders. We can do all this while keeping lit the torch of liberty that has led a generation of immigrants to this land, my forebears and many of yours. Provide a pathway to citizenship for dreamers, those with temporary status, farm workers, essential workers. Revise our laws so businesses have workers they need and families don't wait decades to reunite. It's not only the right thing to do, it's economically smart thing to do. That's why the immigration reform is supported by everyone from labor unions to religious leaders to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Let's get it done once and for all. Folks, advancing liberty and justice also requires protecting the rights of women. The constitutional right affirmed by Roe v. Wade, standing precedent for half a century, is under attack as never before.
Where is it? Where is it?
I
know
know
it's on here.
Not backwards. We must protect access to health care, preserve a woman's right to choose, and continue to advance maternal health care for all Americans. And folks, for our LGBTQ plus Americans, let's finally get the Bipartisan Equality Act to my desk. The onslaught of state laws targeting transgender Americans and their families, it's simply wrong. And I said last year, especially to our younger transgender Americans, I'll always have your back as your president so you can be yourself and reach your God-given potential. Folks, as I've just demonstrated, while it often appears we do not agree, and that we do agree on a lot more things than we acknowledge. I signed 80 bipartisan bills into law last year, from preventing government shutdowns, to protecting Asian Americans from still too common hate crimes, to reforming military justice, and will soon be strengthening the Violence Against Women Act that I first wrote 3 decades ago. And it's important. It's important for us to show the nation we can come together and do big things. So tonight I'm offering a unity agenda for the nation. 4 big things we can do together, in my view. First, beat the opioid epidemic. There's so much we can do. Increase funding for prevention, treatment, harm reduction, and recovery. Get rid of outdated rules and stop doctors that stop doctors from prescribing treatments. Stop the flow of illicit drugs by working with state and local law enforcement to go after the traffickers. And if you're suffering from addiction, you should know you're not alone. I believe in recovery, and I celebrate the 23 million Americans in recovery. Second, let's take on mental health, especially among our children whose lives and education have been turned upside down. The American Rescue Plan gave schools money to hire teachers and help students make up for lost learning. I urge every parent to make sure your school does just that. They have the money. We can all play a part. Sign up to be a tutor or a mentor. Children were also struggling before the pandemic: bullying, violence, trauma, and the harms of social media. As Frances Haugen, who is here tonight with us, has shown, we must hold social media platforms accountable.
Is that number 5?
The experiment they're conducting on our children for profit.
I think that's number 5.
Folks, thank you. Thank you for the courage you showed.
That was number 6? Who was number 5?
And privacy protections. Ban targeted advertising to children. Demand tech companies stop collecting personal data on our children. And let's get all Americans the mental health services they need. More people can turn for help, and full parity between physical and mental health care if we treat it that way in our insurance. Look, the third piece of that agenda is support our veterans. Veterans are the backbone and the spine of this country. They're the best of us.
I'm sorry, Mabian.
I've always believed that we have a sacred obligation to equip those we send to war and care for those in their family when they come home. My administration is providing assistance in job training, housing, and now helping lower-income veterans get VA care debt-free. And our troops in Iraq and Afghanistan have faced many dangers, one being stationed at bases breathing in toxic smoke from burn pits. Many of you have been there. I've been in and out of Iraq and Afghanistan over 40 times. These burn pits that incinerate waste, the waste of war, medical and hazardous material, jet fuel, and so much more. And they come home, many of the world's fittest and best trained warriors in the world. Never the same. Headaches, numbness, dizziness. A cancer that would put them in a flag-draped coffin. I know. One of those soldiers was my son, Major Bo Biden.
Oh,
I don't know
there's
for sure
Bo.
the burn pit that he lived near, that his hooch was near.
Hey, that's my center
Iraq,
square.
and earlier than that, in Kosovo, is the cause of his brain cancer, the disease of so many other troops. But I am committed to find out everything we can, committed to military families like Danielle Robinson from Ohio, the widow of Sergeant First Class Heath Robinson. He was born a soldier, Army National Guard, combat medic in Kosovo and Iraq, stationed near Baghdad, just yards from burn pits the size of football fields. Danielle is here with us tonight. They love going to Ohio State football games.
Hi, number 7. Hi, how you doing? Also, this doesn't feel like a State of the Union. This feels like a campaign speech.
With her daughter. But cancer from prolonged exposure to burn pits ravaged Heath's lungs and body. Danielle says Heath was a fighter to the very end. He didn't know how to stop fighting, and neither did she. Through her pain, she found purpose to demand that we do better. Tonight, Danielle, we are going to do better. The VA is pioneering new ways of linking toxic exposure to disease, already helping more veterans get benefits. And tonight, I'm announcing we're expanding eligibility to veterans suffering from 9 respiratory cancers. I'm also calling on Congress to pass a law to make sure veterans devastated by toxic exposure in Iraq and Afghanistan finally get the benefits and the comprehensive health care they deserve.
I mean, I've watched a few of them, maybe, and yeah, they pretty much all go like this. But I mean, it doesn't change the fact that this is less about, this is how our country's doing, and more about, hey, Congress, this is what you need to be doing.
And fourth and last, let's end cancer as we know it. This is personal. This is personal to me and to Jill and to Kamala and so many of you. So many of you have lost someone you love. Husband, wife, son, daughter, mom, dad. Cancer is the #2 cause of death in America, second only to heart disease. Last month, I announced the plan to supercharge the cancer moonshot that President Obama asked me to lead 6 years ago. Our goal is to cut cancer death rates by at least 50% over the next 25 years, and I think we can do better than that. Turn cancers from death sentences into treatable diseases.
You know what? I'll give you guys the Kamala square.
Families. To get there, I call on Congress to fund what I called ARPA-H, Advanced Research Projects Agency for Health, patterned after DARPA and the Defense Department. Projects that led in DARPA to the internet, GPS, and so much more to make our forces more safer and be able to wage war with more clarity. ARPA will have a singular purpose: to drive breakthroughs in cancer, Alzheimer's and diabetes, and more. A unity agenda for the nation. We can do these things. It's within our power, and I don't see a partisan edge to any one of those 4 things. My fellow Americans, tonight, we've gathered in this sacred space, a citadel of democracy, in this Capitol. Generation after generation of Americans have debated great questions amid great strife and have done great things. We fought for freedom, expanded liberty, debated totalitarianism and terror. We built the strongest, freest, and most prosperous nation the world has ever known. Now is the hour, our moment of responsibility, our test of resolve and conscience, of history itself. It is in this moment that our character of this generation is formed. Our purpose is found. Our future is forged. Well, I know this nation. We'll meet the test, protect freedom and liberty, expand fairness and opportunity, and we will save democracy. As hard as those times have been, I'm more optimistic about America today than I've been my whole life, because I see the future that's within our grasp, because I know there's
Mitch McConnell is not happy.
Our capacity. We're the only nation on earth that has always turned every crisis we've faced into an opportunity. The only nation that can be defined by a single word: possibilities. So on this night, on our 245th year as a nation, I've come to report on the state of the nation, the State of the Union. And my report is this: the State of the Union is strong because you, the American people, are strong. We are stronger today. We are stronger today than we were a year ago. And we'll be stronger a year from now than we are today. This is our moment to meet and overcome the challenges of our time. And we will, as one people, one America, the United States of America. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you. Go get him.
Well, all right. Let's see here. Oh, is that? Okay, I must have just accidentally hit the pause button. All right, maybe. And did you get a bingo? Ari, I don't know if you're still around. Ari, did you get a bingo? You were 2 spaces away on a couple of lines, huh? All right, well, let me see if I can help you out a little bit. He did mention Jill a couple of times. I'll go ahead and give you the square for Jill. I did not have Jill on my card, so let's see here. I'm not sure if he said the previous administration. I'm gonna leave that for now. He didn't talk about January 6th. He did talk about infrastructure spending. So you know what? I'll go ahead and give you that one. That one I did have on my card. He didn't talk about Hunter. He didn't. So this, when I was vice president, I was kind of hoping he would actually say that, and I don't think he did. He didn't talk about when he was a senator. I didn't hear him mention Delaware. Cost of living, maybe we'll come back to that one. He didn't talk about Hillary. He didn't. I thought maybe he'd set out some goals like we're going to accomplish X or Y by 2023 or 2024 or 2030, but no, he didn't. Renewable energy. I'm going to leave that one for right now because he didn't actually say that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because right at the very end he said, in the next year, but yeah, he didn't actually say 2023. I don't know why I thought he would talk about the national debt or the debt ceiling. That seems pretty stupid on my part to have put those on there. He didn't say "Make America Great Again." I thought maybe he would try and. Yeah, he did talk about the deficit. I did catch that. Yeah, "Make America Great Again." I thought maybe he would try to steal the phrase from Trump and turn it around on him, but nope, he didn't do that. He didn't talk about the insurrection. He didn't really talk about America's reputation. He didn't talk about he didn't talk about George Floyd at all. He did use the word pandemic several times. You know what? I'll go ahead and give you guys that one. I was hoping he would have said global pandemic, but he didn't. Greenhouse gases, I didn't remember hearing. United Nations, I didn't hear him mention the United Nations. Lower taxes for the lower class and middle class. I don't think he really talked about that much. He did talk about making the top 1% pay their fair share, right? So I went ahead and gave you guys credit for that. But I don't think he really talked about lowering taxes for everyone else. He basically said, he basically said that they wouldn't pay anything more. College tuition. I don't think he talked about college tuition. Didn't say sustainability, didn't say Amtrak. International partners. So he did. You know what? I'll go ahead and give you guys I'll give you guys this one because he did. I think he used the phrase more like partners in other countries. Build Back Better. He didn't call it Build Back Better, but I think I'll go ahead and give you the guys that one.
I don't want this guy too fired up. Fired up. I'm inspired. You got guns bigger than listen, man.
What did he call it? Like Build America Better or something like that? I did not see him welcome a disabled veteran. He got so close, but I technically I don't think death is a disability. Didn't talk about controlling spending. Broadband. He called it high-speed internet. Close enough. I'll give you guys broadband. I Did not have that on my card, it looks like. Nope. Okay. Didn't talk about a recession. I was kind of... Honestly, I was kind of surprised he called up Roe v. Wade. I'm happy he did. Didn't really... didn't call out any of the Republicans by name. Didn't call out Donald Trump. Didn't call out Mitch McConnell. He didn't call out Nancy Pelosi. He didn't call out Belarus. So... Nuclear power, I figured, I figured he would probably use that in the context of, like, nuclear arms power, not necessarily nuclear electrical power, but in either case, he didn't talk about either one. He didn't talk about the road ahead, he didn't mention Bill Clinton. Alright, lesson for next time, I guess. Didn't call out Chuck Schumer. Didn't talk about North Korea. Chip shortage. Chip shortage, I think I'll go ahead and give you guys, because he did talk, he called it semiconductor shortage. Another one that I don't have on mine. Nope. Didn't talk about cryptocurrency. Didn't talk about the Taliban. Didn't use the word malarkey. I'm kind of disappointed. Didn't talk about Keystone XL. Didn't use the word hunger. Let's see here. We only got up to 7 guests, didn't we? Didn't talk about Saudi Arabia. He did talk about oil. Didn't call out a campaign promise that he fulfilled. Didn't talk about student loan debt. I'm not sure why I threw marriage equality in there. I should have put LGBTQ rights. Public transportation. I was kind of hoping that when he put that one in there, when I put that one in there, I was kind of hoping that he would announce maybe like something to revitalize our rail system. He did talk about highways. So maybe, you know what? I'll give you guys the benefit of the doubt there. Transportation publique. Did not have on my card. No. So maybe which two did you need? Oh, Bill Clinton or Saudi Arabia. Yeah, no, he absolutely didn't talk about those. Dang. Oh, I put Jimmy Carter on there because I thought maybe he would call out Jimmy Carter in the as a guest in the audience, but he didn't. How old is Jimmy Carter now? Isn't he like 152? Ari, have you come back yet? Are you there? So what would I have needed? I would have needed... Yeah, I didn't get more than 3 in any one row, and I would have needed Taliban, which he didn't talk about. I would have needed cryptocurrency, which he definitely didn't talk about. Lower taxes for the lower class and middle class, nope. Affordable tuition, plus either when I was vice president, Hunter, or Amtrak, yeah. And he definitely didn't talk about Hunter or Amtrak. It's possible that he talked about when he was vice president and I missed it. Yeah. Ari had card number 28, didn't he? I can look that up. All right, let's see if you won anything. Okay, so we did get climate change. We did get Russian oligarchs, Build Back Better, Violence Against Women Act. My wife Jill, global pandemic overseas, raise taxes on the 1%. Obama, economic growth. Nope. Nope, Ari, it looks like you would have needed, so you had a sequence of 3 going on the top row here. You would have needed January 6th or Taliban, which he didn't talk about. You got 1 going in this 4th column here, but you would have needed affordable college tuition affordable college tuition and we must control spending. And then the bottom row, insurrection and cryptocurrency, which he definitely didn't talk about. So, no. No winners. Dang. All right, got to try harder next time. I have to try harder. Sorry. Not you guys. Well, all right. I think that is going to do it for me for tonight. Let's see who we can raid here. Ooh, Sam Without a Plan is going. She's playing Elden Ring. So I'll send you guys over to Sam. So Mabian, I hope this was a little bit of fun for you at least. Thank you for coming out, Ari. Thank you for coming out as well. Drive safely, and I believe that M-Park usually streams on Thursday, so he might be back on Thursday. If not, we'll see you guys again. Well, good. Yeah, we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys again on Sunday. You'll see M-Park again on either Thursday or Saturday. So, good night, everybody. Goodbye.
Been like destroying shit.
This is a raid alert. You get it right.
Yo, Ad Hoc, thank you for the raid. What's going on? NF, how you doing? Welcome on in. Thank you. I gotta go so I don't get spoiled. Gotcha. I gotcha. I totally get it. We did a boring State of the Union bingo stream. I like a drinking game. Sword looks cool. It's the Iron Throne of swords, right?